everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Scuzzy Podcast. I am your host, Mio Emperor, and joining me for this show is the usual gang here at Scuzzy. I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hey guys, it's me, Chai, aka Chai Spicy, and I am here with everybody else, and we're about to start the show.
Hey guys, it's me, Oni Gear, We're gonna start the show, it's gonna be fun. We got some good stuff to talk about.
Hey guys, it's Richard Vane. Welcome to tonight's show. Hope you guys enjoy our conversations for today. And I'm gonna pass it back to Mio.
All right, thank you guys and gal. In today's episode, we will be talking about cancel culture, right? So we're gonna be talking about what it is, what people use it for, what are some examples, and overall the ethics of it. We won't be talking about it in that order, but we'll just try our best to detail those topics as we go through certain situations that are happening today. So there's been a lot of talk about cancel culture recently, man, and I want to get you guys' opinion on cancel culture, right?
Essentially, cancel culture in certain contexts is just to basically stop giving support to the person, whoever it could be. It's, in a sense, Wikipedia defines it as withdrawing support for canceling public figures and companies after they've done something or done something considered objectionable or offensive, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Right. And in a way, this is my personal feelings with it, or my personal understanding of it. It's kind of like giving the people the power, or the people the judge and jury power in order to stop someone from doing from getting away with murder or getting away with that bad thing that they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest example is the Harvey Weinstein thing that happened. Was it back in 2017?
Yeah.
We found out what he did. We figured it out, gaslit him, and then took him down.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he didn't get anything legally at the time, no one would watch his movies. No one would support his cause or give him any type of support. So basically, that takes him down even without the justice system.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of something that's evolved with technology in a sense, because with the advent of social media and Twitter and a bunch of other different mediums, this kind of thing has become more common in our society over time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys believe cancel culture is a good thing or a bad thing?
Believe it is the Salem witch trials of the digital age.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a danger. I mean, it's necessary in some cases, but I think it can be used not in a negative light, and it can be dangerous. So that's just my take on it. What do you guys think?
I think it can be beneficial in some aspects, but also very detrimental in others. It just depends. Some people genuinely do something awful, and they get the shame that comes with that, and that's just a natural part of life. But at the same time, it can be kind of scary to see how different it is when it's digital instead of being physical. Because in the old days, you'd have a news article, and then you have a bunch of people angry, but they couldn't really mob up on the internet and kind of, put all their frustrations on someone. But now it's become so easy to do that, especially when you're anonymous and stuff like that. So I can see that it can be very detrimental to society in a sense.
Yeah. Something I've noticed. It seems like cancel culture is kind of working backwards now. So before, if you said something or did something terrible, you lost your career and you're out of here, right? But lately, I've been seeing some people who should be canceled get a stronger following in another circle, and they become more popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot that country singer's name, but he recently just got outed for saying the N-word, and instead of getting canceled, what's his name?
Morgan Wallen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's his name, right? he he got his contract or whatever taken off of the I don't know music stuff, guys. What's the thing that everyone loves or uses for music
That's
agents?
Spotify?
Spotify. All.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
But do you guys know the whole issue with that?
No.
Please
I don't
go
know much
into it.
else behind it.
Yeah, I think they caught on video. Was it a party or something at his house? I guess it was, right? And
Yeah,
people were, I don't know whether those were people telling him to like pipe it down, right? So his neighbors or something, and he came outside and he called them, the N word and stuff like that, right?
Oof.
And they caught it on video. I guess it went viral, and then his record company, the online music industry, they all pretty much canceled him, right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember if he gave an apology.
I don't
If he
remember.
if he did, it really meant nothing, right? Because
Mhm.
right after that, a lot of people came, I guess, to support him, and now, like, like what Oni said, his records have now hit an all-time high.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
or sales.
That's so strange sometimes that, people get infamy and then, end up becoming more famous because of it.
It's
Yeah.
weird. It's almost as if they're trying to stop the cancel culture from working, and so they double down the support.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the star will just either double down or just ignore it and pretend that never happened.
Yeah.
It is like what Rich says. It's like the Salem witch trials, right? It all depends on who the juror is,
Yeah.
the people on the juror. So, and I'm not gonna bring political stuff in there, right? But let's say like you got like the Republicans and the Democrats always kind of like fighting because or conservatives always say that there is they both use cancel culture but in their own separate ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So conservatives always use the fact that there's a war on Christmas, they're trying to shut us down, right?
Mhm.
For example, like Colin Kaepernick is another one that they try to to cancel him out, which they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the left also uses a lot of cancel culture too, because I guess you can say like one of the big examples for me that I did not agree with was the LGBTQ community trying to cancel David Chappelle.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
when he had that one skit and when was talking about, he was just talking about identity, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I guess a lot of people, took it to heart and they were super upset. But I was like, if you watch it, of course, he's making fun, right? But at the same time, I don't think that it was like truly vile and malicious, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then again, I'm not of that group or that populace, so I can't say for sure. But as an outsider, as an independent person, just kind of listening to it, I didn't feel like there was any real malice.
Right. And it's also like the person they're targeting. Like that's Dave Chappelle, right? Like, he attacks everyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're white or black or gay or anything. Like he will use anything that is relevant or like in his eye as a joke. And I think that's where people should understand, like, he's like, in the context, right, he was making fun of it, but he's a comedian. His job is to make fun of things, So
Mhm.
can you really cancel a man for doing his job?
Now that also brings another question too, because is it due to your religion that you get a free pass? I mean, not your religion, but your profession. Right. So just because you are a comedian, does that give you a free pass when you are an actor and you can't say it?
Right.
Mhm.
If you're an actor and you're playing a role in a movie, if that role required you to say it, you can say it. But if you say it off the screen or things like that, right, you can get canceled, right?
Right.
Chappelle, if he says it off screen, or another comedian, they could just say I was just joking around, right? And then they can get a pass.
Yeah, and
That's
then
true.
a lot of the times their career just continues, it doesn't end there. even though that we call it cancel culture, sometimes they're canceled for that time, but then they just keep the ball rolling afterwards. And so sometimes smaller creators or content creators will get canceled, as in like their whole life is done. Like they cannot do that anymore.
Yeah.
So there's two sides to that. There's the side where you're like, you have a lot of money and you can keep the ball rolling and just ignore the haters. And then there's the other side that just straight up shuts down your business.
That's
You know,
true.
one thing with cancel culture is, do you guys think that the repercussions are too much?
I think so. I think it's a little too hard to end someone's livelihood and basically make them go back to the drawing board in order for them to learn a lesson. I think that's a bit much. Then sometimes it does like how vile or how bad what they did was. But like honestly, if they said a joke about someone, or made a tweet about someone, and then you lose everything. I don't know. I think it's a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like being used in a sense to like personally attack the person, like kind of like how some people were getting like swatted, I feel like that's a little too much. But then we also had the whole "Leave Britney Alone" thing that happened like years ago, and that was kind of like, I guess, a showcase of what cancel culture can do. But then Britney Spears continued her career regardless, so there is that.
Yeah.
I think true. In regards to picking up the shovel and digging up in the past, that can be like pretty tricky too. Like you said, like sometimes when you do dig into someone's past, you can find things that really shouldn't be slighting. Like that person shouldn't be in the industry still, or like doing whatever they're doing in the profession because they did this in the past. But like I feel like for some situations, digging up smaller things that someone may have said or tweeted or posted when they were like maybe in middle school or like high school, and then like they've obviously grown and matured and changed as a person. Probably not obviously, but they wouldn't blatantly do that nowadays. I don't know. That's kind of a tricky situation, like canceling for someone for like smaller things they did in the past and like having their whole career taken or swept under the rug from them.
I mean, depending on the context, it's almost similar to online bullying. I'd like to almost pair it together in a sense. And the scary part about it is that the internet is no longer this like small thing that the government used to use for communication. Now everybody can access it and everybody can see everything. So like, putting somebody on full blast like that can be very detrimental. Like you could spotlight and ruin anybody's career in like a matter of seconds with the internet, which is, to me, it just feels kind of wrong.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I want to go back to what you said earlier, Chai, when taking down like a bigger person versus taking down a smaller person.
Yeah.
It's weird because I'm like what you said is kind of like online bullying, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you try to take down a bigger person, but then they fight it with their money, right? They can almost beat the cancel culture, right? By persevering and just keep throwing their money until they make a comeback. But a smaller person can get buried completely and actually get their life ruined, right? Their likeliness and like their whole image, right? Their whole identity, their career. Even if they were just an online YouTuber and they're like, what, I guess I'll just go work at McDonald's now. But then McDonald's is like, I can't really have you, work here because you're pretty famous, so like now what do they do? How do they live if the internet's made them like so infamous that they can't live?
Right. And that's the problem is like I was saying before, everybody's information is out and about. And that's the problem that we're facing in the modern day with cancel culture. It's just like you could single out anyone for anything now and just ruin their lives.
But part of the issue with the cancel culture is too many people are willing to join in or jump on the bandwagon, right?
Yes.
Without any sort of critical thinking themselves, right? Because when I think of cancel culture, I think of when we were kids, right? And have you guys ever got bullied where other people are like, "Ew, look at him!" Like, guys, don't hang out with him; he's weird, right?
Yes,
that's cancel culture, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, except it's hundreds of thousands of people that are also
Yes.
logically connected
No.
to the same train of thought.
Mhm.
So any of our listeners that don't truly understand kind of what it feels like to be canceled, you know, those were like, at least for me, like the beginning phases of what it feels like to be canceled is when, a group of people, even it doesn't even have to be real, right? They'll make up something, spread rumors, and then now, nobody will take your side, right? Or
Mhm.
even listen to you.
Yes. Mhm.
Now, if you're lucky and you're popular and you have friends, they'll stick up for you. So it's now like a game of numbers.
Yes.
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 Yep.
And with the online, thing that's going on, like what Chai said, you take that and you multiply that by hundreds or 1,000, right? That's how worse it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
And then how do you fight that? Like, do you fight it with positive clout? I mean, that's what some people do.
Yes. And it's weird. Sometimes like they could donate to like the best cause or try their best to like have like a good image, and people will still be against them.
Yeah.
Some people just have an agenda. For example, I follow PewDiePie, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They try to cancel him so many times, dude. Right?
Oh,
So
God.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, the people that are really trying to cancel him don't even like really watch him, right? Or follow him. They just probably heard him say like one curse word one time, right? Or he was making a joke and they took it out of context because really they had an agenda to go after him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was lucky because he had a lot of fans, and even when YouTube and them, I think they stopped supporting him. His audience did not, so they just kept watching him. He still kept getting millions of views, right? So in his case, like we said, you need people to actually defend you, right, in order to get past a lot of this cancel culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And then how do we get people to actually do that? People themselves actually need to learn how to critically think or, find facts or find answers, right? Is this person telling truth, right? Is it a lie, right?
Yeah.
And just don't jump on the bandwagon because it makes you feel cool or you're part of a movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then another thing that is interesting about cancel culture that I would like to bring up that's kind of relevant to today. You know about that weird surge that happened with the GME stock?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was only like a couple weeks back, really. So there's a user on Reddit, for our viewers who don't know what I'm talking about, called Keith Gill, and he's all over the news right now. His pseudonym is Deep Fucking Value on Reddit. He's like a financial analyst and investor, and he basically is now being sued for his role in the stock surge. And they were saying that he in a sense was canceled by not only the financial analysts and like the stock brokers and all these people, but then also the people that would get on Reddit because he made so much money off of that GME surge. So they're trying to ruin his life now.
I mean, I don't like. It's weird because I don't like giving too much support to like mega rich people, but like at the same time, is that fair?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They do the
to ask.
same thing.
Yeah.
All of those stockbrokers and that bank and everything, like the hedge funds,
Mm-hmm.
they all make their money from watching people lose their jobs, watching purposely betting against these companies to go down, right? And then when they bet
Yeah.
against these companies, those companies can no longer get loans or anything like that to keep themselves going, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So they themselves are bad. So I don't know why, like there are people that are actually trying to defend them, because when you actually take a look at what they're doing, it's pretty horrible.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. With that, what's it called? They were basically doing that to GameStop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they purposely. Well, they knew that GameStop. I think what happened with GameStop was that the old CEO, he was pretty trashy, right?
Yeah.
So I think they got a new CEO, and I think he wants to turn everything around. I think he wants to change GameStop's culture and I guess their business structure to maybe go more digital, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
all these hedge funds and these banks and stuff like that, they were all pretty much voting against or betting against GameStop to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So even if he wanted to go out and get a loan from another bank and kind of rebuild his company or put more profit into other things, they won't let him because everybody's voting against him, right?
They were canceling GameStop.
They are. So when you take a look at what they're doing, they themselves are canceling, right?
Absolutely.
So at the end, I guess all of these people on Reddit got mad and they're being like, we can play this too, right? So when they played back, they betted against, those hedge funds by joining on the other side and rising the value up so that now, they're on the losing end and that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
So you win, you lose. So I don't know why they cry, right? And all saying like, oh, woe is me, when they themselves have been doing this for years and that's how they got money and that's how they got rich.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is that like I felt like this battle particularly felt more personal because it was like because it's like something that we as Redditors and like regular people, we use GameStop a lot, right? Especially nowadays, right? And seeing it get attacked and like basically canceled by all these hedge fund people, right? It almost felt like a personal attack against us. To me, that's how that's what it seemed like. And
yeah, like regular investors,
right? Yeah, so we had to stand up and fight for it. We had to.
Yeah.
We had to like give it a fighting chance and see if we can try to save it ourselves, take it in our own hands.
Right.
No, they were trying to vilify us, right? But I said, if you like a company, right? Let's say you like Ben and Jerry's ice cream, but it's not doing well, right? Because now, for some reason, milk is expensive or something like that, right? If you really like the company, and you're going to support them by buying some of their stocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not illegal, right?
Not at all.
And if you want to tell your friends and family, like, hey guys, like I love Ben and Jerry's, but they're having a hard time. Let's keep them alive. And if they put in money to try to, help them, that's not illegal too, right?
Right. And I think
I don't know why they were saying like, oh, go ahead, Chai.
Oh, I was saying they were probably trying to say that what he was doing was illegal in the sense that he got multiple people to kind of mob together to buy the stock. But at the same time, this was his testification. When he testified to the House Financial Services Committee on February 18th, he basically was saying, I did not solicit anyone to buy or sell the stock for my own profit. And he simply said he just liked the stock.
Yeah, I like the stock. That's all you have to say, really.
Yeah.
I don't.
So just like how
I don't understand.
Mio was
like
saying,
billionaires are losing. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just like Mio was saying. If you like a business, you're going to support it, whether it's big or small. There's nothing illegal about that.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there's nothing illegal about telling others to pitch in too. For example, like Dogecoin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it illegal for me to tell you guys like, hey, you guys, it's only 7 cents a share. Let's all put in some money, right? Is it illegal to say that?
Absolutely not.
It's not.
No, not at all.
So I don't know why these hedge fund people are all like, "Ooh, no, it's not. It's not fair." They solicit. Well, I can not solicit, but they tell each other. There's like millions of people putting it in, right? I was like, well, it's not illegal for them to tell each other, right? If I, as an individual, want to invest money in this stock or in this company, I have every right to. You can't block me or stop me or say that's illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just angry when the little man plays the same game.
Yeah,
and wins.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, and we win. That's the thing. It's like billionaires can't handle being bullied at all. They just wanted to be the standing.
No, obviously not. Yeah, we saw them crying on national television. Like,
they're all about control. That's all.
Right. The second they lose a little bit of control, this is a marginal amount of control. They're like, oh no, the people, they can't do anything. They're supposed to be stupid. What are you doing? Consume. Stop buying. Consume.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a good example about how canceling culture can be affected by people who have money in their pockets. They'll take it to the court.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking about canceling people, but how do you guys feel about canceling um, companies, right? So going against like a company or an entity. I'll use one for example. Do you guys remember Starbucks and their red cup?
Oh yes.
Yes, the red cup.
What happened with the red cup?
Well, for our listeners out there who forgot, I think in 2015 or 2016, Starbucks, every year they release like a Christmas version of their cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one year they just released a cup and it was just red. So it was just red with the green Starbucks. So it didn't have any like snowflake or snow or any decoration on it because I guess that's what it is. And I think a lot of people on the Christian side, they took that as an attack on Christianity because they weren't celebrating Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them tried to boycott Starbucks, right, by saying that it's an attack on Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, they're a private business, right? They can do anything they want. I mean, they don't have to listen to you guys, right?
No, exactly.
At the same time, it's okay, if they want to put a snowflake on there, they can, right? If they don't want to, it's fine too. If you don't like them, go get coffee elsewhere, right? Like they were really trying to get all of their crew to boycott Starbucks.
Yeah.
I don't like moves like that. Like especially when it's religion motivated. I am usually like, oh, well, these guys are private, like you said. They're private, so they don't need to follow any rules that caters to you. If they wanted to, they could have put like little double horns on it, and it would have been, within the right to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Then that goes the other way too. So on the other side, you guys remember when that baker refused to bake a cake for this gay couple?
Yes.
All right. So that was like an attack from the left trying to cancel that baker, right?
Oh, could you please
but
explain
much like
what happened?
Yes. So, do you guys know this story too, or do you guys kind of want me to kind of explain?
Yeah, kind of explain it for everyone listening.
Okay, I don't remember the town that they lived in, but there was these two guys. I guess they were going to get married, so they went to this bakery to ask the baker to create them a wedding cake.
Oh.
Right? And the baker said, "No, I don't want to create a cake for to celebrate gay marriage because it's against my religion."
Oh wow! I think I remember hearing about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they tried to sue him. Right?
Ooh.
I don't remember if he won or not, or if they went through the case, but I do remember that a whole bunch of people were trying to cancel that that store, that bakery, because they said, oh, they're bigots, things like that. They're anti-gay, and then at the same time, all of these other Christians came and just bombarded them with money, either on like GoFundMe or Patreon or whatever, and they got tons and tons of money, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like one of the cases where Oni said where it kind of backfired.
Yes. It did. Mm-hmm.
But in my that becomes kind of an issue too, because when you think about it, at the very core of it, right, is that discrimination. It is, right?
Yes.
So you refusing a service to a customer based on a discrimination against something that you don't agree with, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't remember if gay marriages are protected though. I think that was one of the other things that they were talking about, right? Or at least in that state, I don't think that was considered a right that was protected or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently, it's in Colorado that this happened.
Colorado. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's Colorado. I don't remember if they are protected in Colorado.
Yeah.
Actually. But yeah, no, that's
Do you guys
you're
believe
right.
that the baker has the right to do that? Right?
You see, no, I don't think he has the right to just deny them service if they didn't do anything that that's not reasonable cause, right? Like if they were gay and they were doing something like like vandalizing the store or doing something, then he can use the excuse of you are destroying my property, get out. I'm not gonna serve it. But that's just as bad as saying like I don't like you because you have red hair, so get out of my store. You can't. Wow. I don't think you can do that.
Right.
It's tricky because he didn't use looks. He used his religion, right? So, for example, I'm just going to use this religion. So, believers of Islam, please don't take it to heart, right? Mm-hmm. But I think they said that they cannot. One of my buddies, I think he told me that it cannot service infidels or non-believers or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I got to ask him again. But if there is a store that the owner was a Muslim, and if I came in and I asked for something, and I'm not a believer, right, of God, right? Can he refuse me based on that? Refuse me service. So let's say like I want to come and hey, can I get like a hamburger or something? Well, I don't know if they'll be doing hamburgers, but just something like that. And he'd be like, no, because you don't believe in Muhammad.
I think it really depends on the state law as to whether it will take their side as far as their religion goes. Because the thing is, like, at the end of the day, it's a business and it's not religiously influenced, if anything. Because, like, people should be able to come in and buy whatever they need to buy, get in, get out, regardless of what they practice. But like if they pull that on that situation, then it takes it into consideration whether the state is protective of certain religious rights and stuff like that. But I absolutely believe that like they shouldn't be able to refuse anybody based on their religious background or sex or whatever. Just discrimination in general should not be a thing when people are doing business.
Yes, I agree with that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say something radical, but like, would you be okay with a Satanist coming in and doing business with you? Like, just
I want the Satanist's money.
In blood, he just murdered someone sacrificed someone for his ritual, and he's like, "Hey, I need some napkins. Do you think you could sell me some napkins, Chai?"
Yeah, I mean the same way we sell guns to people. You never know what they're gonna do with the gun.
If I don't see you doing that, then I will give you the napkins. I'll give you the whatever knife or whatever. But I don't see you doing it. I don't know you're gonna do it. I think that's the whole point of it. I'm not judging you based on how you look.
Right. Like, you hope your customer is going to just do well with whatever they buy, and it's really none of your business. I mean, unless you're conducting a background check or something like that, that's different. Right? But you don't conduct a background check for buying a cake, like...
Exactly.
Sell them the cake.
And I remember one of the big issues from the other side about that gay couple buying the cake was that they said that they could have just gone to another bakery and got them a cake. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they misunderstood the whole reason why that thing became big was because, you cannot discriminate, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not a business thing whether, you can go to another bakery or not. It's that, here, you cannot discriminate, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point of being American, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's weird because, here we have religious freedom to believe in whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
But then there is no such thing as a religious acceptance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether you want to accept whether that person believe in like Vishnu or that person believe in Muhammad or God or Buddha, that's all dependent on you, right? You're not forced to, to accept that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that was where the issue came in. Was like, I did not accept, your lifestyle and what you choose to do, so I choose not to support that by not baking you this cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. see, like, I feel like part of it, he shouldn't have that ability to not allow people to have like his cake. You know, like it's if he was their friend and he said no because I just found out you're gay, I can't even make you gay. You know, that's a whole different thing because now that's his choice, right? But he's a business, and someone came in there to consume his product, and he's saying, "No, I don't like you, so you cannot have this product." I think that's where the problem, to me, falls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to own a little grocery store a long time ago, my family,
Yeah.
and we have the right to not give service to anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually because of a reason. You know, you have to post it outside, like no shoes, no shirt, no service, or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You just can't, see somebody come in and just be like, oh, nope, you're not welcome here, just get out, right? But if but if you have that sign out there and they come in like either no t-shirt, no shoes or anything, you could just be like, sir, I'm sorry, but we have like a dress code, or we have something here, where you have to meet to come in, and it's not discriminatory, if you don't have like no shirt or no shoes, right? That's just social courtcy, I guess.
Right.
So that's really not discrimination there.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. That's like an etiquette that they have to follow, and if you're not following the etiquette, then get out.
I know. It's like, have you guys ever gone to the club and they tell you like, oh, you need to wear like collared t-shirt, nice like shoes or things like that, right? If you don't wear that, they won't let you in. The bouncer won't let you in.
Yes, they turn you around. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the rules of the premise.
Right.
Yes. Is that discriminatory?
No.
I think since you're a private company, since you're private, you're allowed to set your own rules, what you are allowing in your platform or allowing in your area, right? But that will define like whether or not to go there,
Yeah.
If you have your terms, your rules, what you're allowing, and people are like, well, I want to do this, and you can't do it here, then they're like, I guess I'll either not do it here at all and find another place, or they just get kicked out.
I guess you can say they're discriminating against fashion, but fashion is not protected, right?
No, fashion is not protected. No. This same thing, people talk about it in regards to Twitter. Like how some people get I'm trying not to get political, but like some people will have ideas and then they'll get kicked off and they say, that's my freedom of speech, how could you take that away from me? But I think that goes in line with what you're saying with the certain rules. Like Twitter's a private company; they have their own rules.
They have their own rules.
Yes, they do.
Like when you make an account, right? A lot of people don't read that, but then they have all the rules and guidelines, and you check on the bottom said, "I have read and agreed," right?
Yes,
Yep.
Right.
I mean, like they're a private company; they have their own rules. Plus,
and you just agree to it.
Just agree to it.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess some people, maybe it's because we're tech people, we truly understand, things like that. Right? But then there are other people out there that don't understand. Oh, you're silencing my voice, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, but we're not a public platform, right?
Not at all.
They're a private company, and then you are a customer or a member of them, and they have every right to kick you out. Right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I think that they're trying to pass a new law that will make social network public or something like that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know because they said they're too powerful. Right?
Yeah. I think they're trying to make it like a government thing, right?
They are. They're trying to
Yeah.
make IT companies like listen to, our state legislature, things like that, where um, they have oversight, right?
Hmm.
But then at the same time, can you do that to a private company too? Like, or should you? Right? They said these
Right.
private companies are too big, but at the same time, I don't really trust the people in our Congress and stuff like that to really know these things too, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
Not at all. Holy cow.
Yeah, there's a lot they need to catch up on as far as like technology.
Right.
I think they might die before they finish catching up. So
Of old age, of course, but like they just it seems like it just takes forever for them to even get there.
Do you guys even remember when the Senate called Mark Zuckerberg and they were questioning him about like Facebook and
Oh, yes.
what was it? Was it the monopoly or it was something like
It
that,
was
that he called
it
him
was
for?
something about the monopoly or something about the data. I can't remember. People's
Oh yeah,
data.
it's about their data breach, right?
Mhm. Right.
Did you guys, I don't remember the questions, but some of these senators asked them these really dumb questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I think Mark Zuckerberg and there are all these memes that came out too, but then they're just kind of like these are the guys that are gonna vote to make rules and regulations on tech businesses. Right?
Right.
Mhm.
They don't even know anything, right? Majority of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't know. That's why I don't believe that that's the right way to go to.
Yeah. Why don't we have anyone that's specialized in what they're gonna argue against? Why don't we have people that understand the content?
What we need is we need a council of selected people who are really knowledgeable about that subject, right?
Mhm.
And then number one, they need not be funded by these IT corporations, right?
Right.
right.
Mhm.
And then number two, they should also have term limits and get voted out, and new people get voted in. And that's the only way you can kind of keep it from being corrupted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like a
committee-
new system, right?
It is, and we need something like that to oversight these incredibly powerful companies, because I don't have trust that people that are representatives know what they're talking about unless they themselves are IT majors, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's the problem. That's when we get like issues like the Ajit Pai thing.
Don't even.
I heard he's gone. Is he still there?
Yeah.
Yes,
he left.
he left. He left right after right after the big man left.
Yeah.
All right, and guys, how do you guys feel about IT companies in regards to cancel culture and all that stuff? Do you guys believe that they should have more responsibility? And if so, like, should they get involved and police everything?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, there was an issue, ongoing issue now that's going on between Facebook and Australia, right? And it's not just Facebook, actually. Australia tried to pass this new law that forces, because what happens is most of the people are now going to these online social platforms to get all of their news, right?
Right.
And by people doing that, it's pretty much killing news networks and especially like small town local news outlets.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So what the government decided to do was they wanted to pass this bill. I don't know if it has passed or if it's still in talks, but they wanted to pass this bill so that Facebook and Google and all of these platforms that people go get their news, that they have to pay money to those news networks or those news companies.
Oh.
Mm.
So now that became kind of iffy, because I heard that the Rupert Murdoch, I guess his company, they were the ones that were really trying to lobby this law because they're losing money because people are now going onto these online platforms instead of them, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So they're losing all these revenue and stuff like that. So they're now trying to force Facebook and stuff to pay them, right?
Oh, I see.
Wow.
For their lost revenue. So that became iffy because now Facebook and Google, I think finally conformed and said, okay, we will do that, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
Facebook says that no, we won't do that because these are private companies. If their business cannot survive, that's their fault. We don't have to pay them. right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. What are we? Some like people like charity, or are we always trying to you know socialize them in a way that we keep them alive, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do understand helping local news networks or like small time channels, right? Because sometimes the big news network, all they do is they just report the big stuff, but they don't report the stuff that's going on in our town, right?
That's
Mhm.
true.
Right.
Yeah, so if they are gonna give money back to the town, to the community and stuff like that, they should in a way give it back to these smaller uh news networks or news channels rather than these big ones like Fox and CNN and all of them, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Hmm.
Mhm. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Facebook should pay because everybody's going on to them, or do you guys believe that you live and you die?
You see, yeah, I think this is kind of like a die situation, right? This is like the cable companies and how they started losing to people when cord cutting started happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone stopped buying cable packages, right? And they started saying, "Well, I can just stream everything, right, off of Netflix. I don't need that." So I don't think the cable companies. I don't think had the right to say you need to pay us so we can do this, and I don't think Facebook should have to pay these news networks to for their loss of money. They can't adapt to what's now the new hip thing to give out news. So you should just either adapt or drown. It's kind of harsh, but I don't think you should be paying other companies because they have a better spin at your idea.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Oni on that one because essentially, like, when I was kind of interviewing with a company, it was a large media company, I'm not going to name it here. They were
Mhm.
essentially saying that people were moving away from TV and they were using the internet as their main medium for news. So even the TV companies had to catch up and kind of change their whole concept of delivering news through the internet instead of just using the TV as their primary medium. So, with that being said, it's kind of like a sink or swim affair where Facebook is really leading the news outlets and the audience to use the internet more as a tool to get their news sources and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily a good source. Neither is Fox, to be honest with you, but they're moving away from stuff, so like it's not their fault. It's just the times are changing, people are wanting other things, and the audience wants something different. Then the other companies have to change their business plan and their model and catch up, and I don't think Facebook really owes them anything. They're just a competitor at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like survival of the fittest, man. Like for real, bro. Like if these incumbents aren't like willing to make the change to keep up with like everything that's going on in the world, like technology is always improving. So like if you can't find a way to integrate yourself with these changing times, then you're just gonna drown, like what Blockbuster did when it tried to go up against Netflix back in 2007 when they started streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix was streaming, and then Blockbuster finally decided, oh, let's do mail-in videos or whatever, when Netflix has already been doing that since like 1999, 2000 and on. And like now they're
Right.
just now doing that. Of course they would die off. So if you're not willing to change to I don't know, compete with like these new competitors here, like what Facebook is, like probably a new better news source than what you have right now in Australia, then yeah, I don't think you guys they owe you any money, because I think it was just you dropped the ball at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And one of the fighting points that they try to come back with was saying that all these people, these journalists, right, these people that specialize in journalism,
Hmm.
uh, work for these companies, and if these companies die, journalism dies with them too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I'm like, no, you just have to find a new outlet, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're going to be a journalist no matter what. For example, like Vice, right? Vice is a good example because they're not like, they were like an online only, right? news kind of streaming network, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like a digital content. That's what they call them, like digital content news outlet.
Right.
Yes, I think that later on they had their own channel too, eventually on cable, but uh, they themselves branched out into that new outlet, and I don't really know like how well they do financially, but I do know that their name got big, and then they went towards that platform, and it seems to be working for them.
Right.
Right? So I think that journalism, will still survive. The journalist people will just kind of have to find a new outlet, and these companies like Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they all because people say like, oh, you need to have open journalism, right? But then at the same time, I was like, no, you work for that company. The company has their own agenda. They won't let you report on everything, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so they themselves are censoring too. So I don't understand why people are like, oh, uh, if these news companies die, then we won't have open, news right anymore, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and I
So I
mean,
think
like you were
go
saying
ahead.
before, Mio, there was a issue also with the fact that local news sources were also going down, and that's actually a huge problem because at a certain point you'll have a blackout as to what's going on locally, and you only focus on global stuff.
Yes.
Now, if that's the case, do you guys believe that local news networks should be public, like paid through our taxes to keep them alive, like a
Mm.
PBS or something? I guess
Ooh,
PBS is kind of like that. They have their own news too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
personally, yeah, like if news in my city isn't being covered like on these big networks, then yeah, I think, I wouldn't mind putting in an extra buck or so into taxes so I can know what's going on in town. But like, I don't know, it depends because you can easily find those things online too. That information, like we have like a site that has information on what's going on in so and so town. I was about to say my town, but then you guys would know where I live, and we don't want that.
Almost. Almost. Right.
But I don't know. What do you guys think, Chai, Oni?
Yeah, I mean, like, as far as taxing, like, people always have a problem with taxes, so they were gonna complain about that.
Yeah.
But Richard was saying, I mean, there's literally no reason as to why they couldn't have something public on the internet that is, you know, like people donate to it or fund it in some other fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But we still get our local news because I think that that's really important to have. Like, it's really bad to have blackouts in your area and not know what's going on.
Right.
I think that if it benefits everyone, everyone should pitch in, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
At least in that area. Um, I guess the issue now comes with the who controls the news, right? If it's local. So does your local city town mayor, right, or something like that, or should they stay independent too, but they are, f- I guess, state funded, right, or city funded or government funded.
Right.
Hmm. For us, since we're IT people, we get all of our stuff on the internet. We're okay, but I think for people that are not as tech literate or older people, they still watch the TV like massively.
Hmm.
Right?
Yes. Yes,
That's
that's
like their
true.
only outlet to get news. So I don't know it because the hard issue is that it is a dying platform, right? Especially
Yeah.
if you think about it going into the future, right? Our kids and our kids, right? Because even for us now, for me, I don't watch a lot of TV. My
Hmm.
TV is like almost always off.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
I'm always on
Yeah.
my computer. Uh-huh.
Yes. Like unless I'm gaming, my TV is not on.
Yeah,
Right.
most of our like bills as a household is just like predominantly internet and electricity. Like my family will still watch like TV. I think it's just like a boomer thing. I don't mean to like throw shade on boomers, but like that generation loved TV because they were just kind of raised to watch it and normalize that. But like as the advent of the internet happened, a lot of us moved away because the TV ads were just so irritating.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
they make their money.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But
Yeah.
now we have Google ads, and even though it's like a little ad here and there, it's not so much that you have to be forced to hear it and sit through it because it wastes so much of your time.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. You can almost like ignore easier. you know?
So let's say that these news networks die, and Facebook, Google, all of those stuff now become the new platform for news. Should they be responsible for fact checking content, right? Or should that fall onto another company, or should that fall onto the government, which we were just talking about earlier?
Mm,
Yeah.
I think it's important that they do. I think that's something that they shouldn't gloss over. I'm not sure if if they should get a third party person, maybe open a new job doing that. I don't know, but it's important not to just let the information be completely, not that, I don't want to say free, but kind of just completely outrageous, right? We can't just say, "Oh, if you look outside right now, buffaloes are," right, and as your factual news, and people will start believing you. They're like, "Oh yeah, I think I saw one," and people start believing that. I don't think that should be okay. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, they do have content moderators, but as you can tell from last year and the year before, they're not really doing their job. At least not the way they should, and that moderation is lacking. So yes, I definitely think that there should be either like a department that does that, or you know how restaurants have standards that they have to adhere to, kind of like the food standard check. You got to get an A or higher type thing for your cleanliness to
Right.
go down as like a not a food poisoning type of place to eat.
Yeah.
Just like that, they need a bureau that like checks stuff, kind of like Snopes.com, but a bureau.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Fact checking is definitely important for these news outlets, especially with the whole new coined term, fake news. I'm kind of sick of hearing it. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
I think
It-
if we have like some sort of resource to prove what is being said is true on these news outlets, I think that'd be pretty helpful and beneficial for the public overall. But then people would be like, how do we know that they're telling the truth? And then that's a whole nother thing. But I think
Right.
if they have their sources on hand and everything's like proven right then and there, and we don't have too many tinfoil hatters in the audience, and I think we'll be good. But
Right. I mean, like, with like last year and such, YouTube had made an effort to do something to keep people in check with by putting the source or putting information in the description, automatically. If their topic was about a certain thing, they would say, "Hey, also look at this. Make sure that you're not like make sure you're being informed on both sides." Something along that lines, in order to like cite something or saying this isn't factual. Like if someone's saying that vaccines suck, don't use them. They'll tell you like, hey, that's not a factual truth. Like if you look at these sources here, you'll see that that person's bullshit.
Should that be their job though? Because YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of these are platforms where we can voice our opinions, right?
Right.
So maybe we are addressing like a fact, but maybe somebody doesn't believe it. Is it their job to almost kind of go through everyone's video or content and say that this is fake or real, or things like that?
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
yeah, that's just tricky, but I don't think we have the answers for everything like that.
no, and
Mm-hmm.
we will see as time comes, because the information age, and the way that things that we're getting our information, it's always changing, right? The
Yeah.
landscape
Yeah.
is,
Mhm.
and then we just kind of have to, at the same time, since at least for us, since we're IT majors, this is within our field. It is something that we do have to come up with a solution to, because we understand it the best, right?
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah.
guess it's going to be a struggle for us moving forward.
Absolutely.
That's what it
Okay,
is.
so with that said, I'm sorry guys, but we've pretty much reached the end of our podcast. So
Mhm.
I want to thank everyone for listening to us. I hope you all enjoyed it. We upload a new podcast every week on Monday. So if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get updates on our latest uploads. You can also check out our Twitter at Scuzzy Pod and leave any comments or feedback that you'd like. We wish you all the best and hope to see you all next week.
Take
Bye.
care.
See ya, guys.
See you guys. Stay scuzzy.
Be Scuzzy.